You're listening to Navid Moosa of The Mindset Movement. Good day, good people. My name is Navid Moosa. I'm your host today and always for The Mindset Movement. For those who are first-time listeners, thank you. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity. For those who are repeat listeners, nope, you haven't tuned into the wrong channel. This is the right spot to be in. We just changed our name from the basics of being an agent tour to The Mindset Movement. And for those who are kind of confused, quick backstory. Basically, I started off and I still am a real estate agent, and I train other real estate agents to become investors and how they could use the tools they have to their fullest extent and how they can spot and work with investors. That became into a point where these podcasts and the conversations that came from those podcasts, the feedback, the emails and whatnot, where we were like, you know what, we're going to just talk about being an entrepreneur, being self-employed. That's why we've changed the name from Becoming an Agent Tour to The Mindset Movement. Having said that, first timers, thank you. Repeat listeners, thank you just as much. Loyalty is dope. I love it. So what are we going to talk about here? What are we going to talk about on the Mindset Movement? Well, my topic for today is cost savings. Okay. Now, seems generic, but I'm going to be specific about that there. What I'm basically talking about is how sometimes we look at cost savings as our driving factor to making our decisions. I disagree with that. Okay. I'm not saying it's 100% wrong. All I'm saying is more times than not, that factor of cost saving bites us in the ass and actually doesn't give us a cost savings. It actually ends up costing us more. I'll give you a quick story. Had a first-time investor who wanted a rental property, found a rental property, found the rental, I found the renovation crew, I put a property management company in place for him and everything. It was a turnkey rental, right? All they needed to do was stroke that check and that was it. When we're going over the numbers, I'm like, here's what this is going to cost, here's what this is going to cost. And he's looking at everything. He goes, oh, the insurance, that's a lot of money. I only paid this much for my house. You're buying an investment property, so the insurance is going to cost a little bit more or about the same than of your primary residence. And understand there's different factors that take into place because you don't live there, a third party lives there. And he goes like, yeah, but that's still a lot of money. I'm like, well, you're looking at it, but you're comparing it to your home policy. When in actuality, this is not your home policy. It's an insurance policy on your investment home. So you can't do an apples to apple comparison, right? So he thought, no, I'm going to call my guy. My guy is the best. He'll give me a heck of a rate. You sure? I have someone here who I deal with. Why don't you call him and compare? Said, I'll just use my person instead. Okay, no problem. Came time. He bought the home. Insurance policy, the binder was there at settlement. Looked at it, reviewed it as far as, just make sure it was properly labeled and whatnot. And he saved an amazing $36 on an annual basis for his rental. His policy came in $36 a year less than what I had proposed he would most likely pay for it. That's $3 a month. Now, depending who you are, they'll say, Navi, that's $3 a month, man. That's $36. $36 is $36 a year. $3 is $3 a month. You're absolutely right. But here's the difference. The deductible on my guy was $500. The deductible with his person was $1,000. The coverage, the insurance representative I had recommended him to said, we will cover backup sewage. We will cover these instances of where your tenant will shove stuff down the sink that they shouldn't shove down there and back it up and clog it up. The quote unquote flushable wipes and the grease from the frying pan and so on and so forth. That's what's going to happen. Nope, but he wanted to save $36. So fast forward X amount of years later and X equals 2. What happens? Everything's clogged up. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, the tenant clogged it. The tenant has to pay for it. You're absolutely right. The tenant is responsible for that if your lease is written up correctly. But the damage is $5,000 for him to get this thing fixed. And the tenant doesn't have it laying around. Are you not going to repair this and just let it sit there until it gets fixed? Buy the tenant to pay for it? No. You still got to pay for it. Hey, but you have an insurance policy. You just paid deductible. Now, in this case, it wasn't covered. Remember, he wanted to save $36, so it wasn't covered. So now he's got to pay that, the full $5,000. Oh, he was livid. He was livid that he had to do it. Livid at the tenants, livid at me. He put tenants in there like this, all that kind of stuff. When in actuality, he was mad at himself for saving that $36. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong comparing prices and looking and trying to save a buck, especially when you're new to the world of entrepreneur, especially if this isn't your 9 to 5, this is your 5 to 9 that you're trying to get out of your 9 to 5. But you have to make an apples to apple comparison. Too many times we come in and yes, a budget, we need to live by that budget. We need to do our best to stick within that budget. But sometimes we let the budget cripple us. We let the budget hamper us. We let it sacrifice the quality of type of business that we want to run. And that's not to say you blow your budget and you make it astronomical. No, you just need to understand that maybe your budget isn't realistic. realistic. If you want these 10 items to make your business flow to its, so it can grow for the next 10, 20 years, that's fine. But for the budget, all your dollar figures that you have to spend on these softwares that you need and these tools, if it doesn't fit, what do? Do you say, well, I need these 10 tools. I'm going to find cheaper brands of these 10 tools so I can fit into the budget? Or are you going to turn around and say, you know what, instead of me cheapening my product by getting lesser tools, let me see what tools I need right away. Let me see what tools I need right now so I can get this business off the ground. And then as money comes in, I can go ahead and get the additional tools. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the times, once we see that dollar figure doesn't match up, we are willing to compromise and almost downgrade the quality of our infrastructure, right? We're willing to degrade that to an extent where just so it fits the budget. But sometimes maybe what you want, the tools you're asking for, maybe you could do without some of them. Maybe you don't need them right now. Maybe you need them down the road and let the business pay for them. So we also, money is an essential to any business. Regardless of what people say, money makes the world go round. Money can buy happiness and it makes the world go round. Let's please stop with this BS that it does neither of those things. It does. It's not the only thing that causes those two things. It's one of the top 5. Too often though, we let it be our motivator. And that's where I have an issue with personally. As a business owner, right? There's a lot of times people say, well, how are you going to afford that? I flat out had a conversation today where someone says, well, how are you going to get this? I don't know. My answer was, I don't know. I have no clue where I'm going to get the money, but guess what? I really need this over here. So I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go get it because I know this is what's going to make this business run to its next level. That's another thing. You got to be able to work under pressure as being an entrepreneur. You think working for somebody else is stressful? Working for yourself could be more stressful at first. You need to be ready for that. But that there will be a different topic because stressors, boy, that's a long topic, a long subject there. But I want you guys to think about your business infrastructure and the budgeting aspect of it and think about starting. I'm working a 9 to 5. I have a 5 to 9. I can't get it up to the next level. What do I have to play with? How much money do I have to invest into my business venture? And if it doesn't match up, don't just look at the budget. Look at the budget and the software and see, do you really need all these items to take you to that level? Or do you just need something quickly to get you there right now? And then the business can pay for itself down the road. That is. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, actually a new ending, just do right by your client. Just do right by your client and everything else will fall into place. I promise you, do right by your client and everything else will fall into place. God bless. Take care, you guys.